Hello. Welcome to RamGoatAstrology. I'm Laura Lee.
And I'm Helena. Hello. Today, we're going to talk about the North Nodes. Or the North Nodes. The North Node and the South Node.
The nodes.
The nodes. And for you that don't know what the nodes are, they're not planets. They're not asteroids. They are pretty much calculations in the sky based of something that maybe Laura can explain.
I actually can, because I looked this up and I made sure
great
visual images because my brain really needed to understand. It is where the orbit of the sun and the moon and the earth all like intersect. It's a specific point in the sky where the energies of the orbits of the planet, the moon, and the sun all come together. So it's like this power point, essentially, of the energies of these three celestial things that are very important to us here on Earth. So the Earth, the moon, and the sun, and their like orbital path.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I get it. I think I get it. Yeah. And these nodes, they show very much where you're heading towards in your life and what you're coming from. So for example, me, I have my North Node in Pisces, and my South Node, the South Node is always exactly opposite of your North Node. So then my North Node is in Pisces, so I'm heading towards more like I'm supposed to be in a more spiritual realm, I think, to find myself in that dreamscape of Pisces, to allow myself to be that. And my South Node, where I'm coming from in a past life, is Virgo, which is a more like maybe I was a doctor or a nurse or someone who was always helping and giving to the other. And you can find that in your life, you can sometimes fall into your South Node, and that is not really serving your purpose in this life. It's very easy to fall into the South Node. It's very comfortable.
Yeah.
And I find that too.
It's the energy you know really well. So here's
exactly, because you've been through that.
Hang on, let me.
Okay.
It's like blared.
I sort of see it.
So not helpful right now. Sorry, I was trying
Maybe we can post that. Send it to me and I'll post it on our Instagram.
I will. Let's do that.
Ram and Goat Astrology.
The South Node is the energy that you really came to this life knowing how to do naturally. Like that is your jam. That is your MO. You've got that down. The North Node is where you have to stretch because that is not comfortable energy and you have to really practice that. Now, most of us don't really embody or lean into that nodal energy until we hit about late 30s, early 40s. That's when that maturity kind of really starts to kick in, where the nodes become more prominent, more dominant, more important in your life. So yours is in Pisces?
Yep.
Okay. So we both have water North Nodes. Mine's in Cancer.
Oh, I love that for you.
Well,
no,
it makes sense. I mean, like I literally have to lean into motherhood every day. Like it is a very difficult task for me. And not that motherhood's easy for anybody, but I feel like for me with Saturn in the 5th house and North Node in Cancer, like this shit's really hard for me to do. I would much prefer to go to work and like leave the family with someone and go do my work, right? Capricorn, South Node Capricorn. Like I got the work, which is why I have all my Capricorn friends and my Capricorn husband and my Capricorn mom. And look at you in Sweden. I'm even manifesting Capricorns across the ocean.
Yeah. Oh, and I have to add also that you can see in your chart where you have your South Node. If you make a compositive chart with a partner or a friend, and that person has a planet around where your South Node is, that is a clear indication that you have spent previous lives together, like for sure. So that's very interesting that your South Node is in Capricorn, your husband is a Capricorn.
And he's got like 5 planets there.
Someday.
So
Yeah.
sure, there's something connected to that.
Yeah.
I love that. I think it's so important to recognize, because it is something so easy for me to do, is lean into that Capricorn energy. And like you said, for you with your Virgo energy, it's like a piece of cake to do that.
Yeah.
Not easy for us to get into our watery, feely, emotional selves.
It's not. It's not. But what about you? Because you've had to, because now you just had your 5th kid, sort of a surprise baby, and you are 41.
Yep. Yep.
And so the North Node sort of kicks in more around your 40s. Do you find that you can weigh, it's a lot easier for you because now you had a lot of practice, and this is really your karma, your dharma?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially this week, because as we're recording right now, my 3 older kids are at camp. And so they are gone for the week. And it's me and my, so we dropped off 3 and we still have 2. And which is a really big mind trip. And it's like me and my husband learning how to parent like 2 little needy children again, but by ourselves without any kind of help, right? Just us and these 2 kids. And yesterday was very, very challenging for both of us, because he has his North Node in Cancer as well. It's the only placement we have the same.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So we both have this North Node. We need to lean into parenting and mothering and nurturing, and not only these children, but also ourselves, and being kinder with ourselves, less judgmental, just all of that energy of that Cancer really doing the healing.
The softness.
Yep, the softness. And yesterday we had to work real hard and do some tag team back and forth of nurturing ourselves and going, okay, I need a break. And of course, Felix was helping us to lean into that by being extra fussy and needing to nurse more and needing to have more mama time. And meanwhile, my brain is working on creating this collective group I'm working on, the Cosmic Mama Collective. So yeah, I am embracing that Cancer energy.
Wow.
As I create an online community for moms to
Wow.
learn astrology and learn how to parent themselves better. So isn't that interesting? We're talking about that.
That is really like accurate,
right?
With you embodying that North Node in Cancer.
But I'm using my Capricorn knowledge to work hard to do that mothering, right? That's the thing. You have to take that knowledge of that Capricorn, or the past, that you have, the South Node energy, and work towards applying that to learn the lessons of your North Node. So I have to use my Capricorn understanding to work hard to soften and nurture and take care. Isn't that crazy? You got to do the same thing with your Virgo Pisces axis.
I was just thinking about that, like how I'm going to do that. It's not really, I feel like it's unraveling slowly, and has been for a couple of years, how I would use my North Node in Pisces. And I feel like it's like, when you see a storm coming in the distance, it's like coming closer and closer, but like not a bad storm, a nice storm.
A nice storm, yep.
A nice storm. So I can sort of see it over there. I don't think too much about it. It just pops up now and again in my life. Like these things are coming to me, but I'm not yet sure how to really do it. But it will make sense when it's time.
That makes sense. So I just checked my husband's chart, and he has Mercury at 19 degrees Capricorn. And my North Node my South Node is 18 degrees and 42 minutes.
Okay. Great. So you definitely had a past life together.
Several, yes.
Yeah. It's interesting. My partner has his North Node on my sun.
His North Node's on your sun sign.
Yeah.
Isn't that intriguing?
Yeah. So I'm like, what does that mean? Am I here to inspire him?
Because of you two intrigue me because of your locations in the world, right? Like, you were clearly not from even the same continent. And that intrigues me, like how people find each other and connect through partnership. Right?
Yeah. It's really interesting. And I can recommend a book to read if anyone's interested in reading about their own North Node and South Node. And that book is called Astrology for the Soul, and it's by Jan Spiller.
So good.
It was my first real astrology book.
It's really in depth. Really,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
I love it. It really gave me some great insight into not only me and my husband, but then looking at my children and what their spiritual path is for each of them. So intriguing.
Yeah, I felt like I, for the first time, that was, I think, when my eyes really widened about how astrology can help you understand yourself. There was so much there that I read that I was like, oh my God, these are things that I've never spoken out loud, but they live in me.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I think that's, even for someone like me who has no planets in Earth, to feel like I have such a workhorse drive, like I have this workaholic kind of energy within me. And I've seen it come out in unhealthy ways in my 20s and my 30s, where I would just work till 2 or 3 in the morning on certain projects or something, right? Where I would just apply myself super intensely. And I always found that so interesting because there wasn't anything in my chart that really spoke to that kind of staying power, except for my south node. Like, that's the only thing that really made sense. And now that I understand the nodes better, I'm like, oh, that's because like I'm really good at that. Like I've had several lives where I've been the CEO or the leader that has built my way to the top. Like I have stepped on people to get to the top, and I've put my family last to grow. And now this life, I'm supposed to put work kind of not necessarily last, but definitely not first.
Yeah.
And family is supposed to be first, and they are part of my work, or they are my work. So interesting.
It's so interesting. And yeah, so we were just talking about, before we hit record, the because now I don't know if we mentioned it, but the North Node is changing signs. That's why we're recording this episode, and it stays in each sign for about 18 months. So this is what we're going to talk about. It's a global energy, and that will affect everyone. And we were just talking about the previous positions. So the one that was not that is not right now, but the one that was before now when was that?
2020 to 2022. So that was Gemini and Sagittarius. So the North Node was in Gemini and the South Node was in Sagittarius. And that was right when the pandemic happened. And Sagittarius, South Node, is all about travel and, you know, being in other cultures and long distance travel. And that was really restricted for the entire world, right? Globally. And it really affected the way we did our everyday lives and communicated, which is Gemini. So the North Node in Gemini had to really change who we spent our time with, how we communicated with them, and the friends, because Gemini is all about, you know, changes and friends. And how many of us lost friends during the pandemic because of certain beliefs, or, you know, people.
Oh, there was camps. Yeah, for sure.
Right.
It was
very clearly separating, like either you do this or I won't, you know, you can't be part of this group, or we're not going to do this. Right. It was, it was intense.
But you know what? That's really interesting because, like you said before, the South Node deflates something. So it deflated Sagittarius. No more travel, like no more flights been taken. Everyone just stayed at home, and then it inflates Gemini. And people with that you had to sort of choose camp, people got loud about their beliefs.
Yeah, they did.
And
Real
that's
loud.
yes, and that's, I guess that's just what we needed in the world. Like it needed to come up to the surface.
Yeah, it was almost, and Gemini can get like this. It was almost obnoxious, or not almost, it was obnoxious, right? The separation.
It was everywhere.
Yeah, the separation of the twins, right? The Gemini twins, the black and white, the yin yang, was really pronounced, and people were not understanding that you got to have both of them to work together, right? That's the higher road of Gemini, is recognizing you can have your opinion, I can have mine, and we can cohabitate, which is Sagittarius's MO. Sagittarius is all about let's love everybody for their differences and get along, and, optimism, optimism, optimism. But that was deflated.
Mm,
So we had like this unhealthy Gemini split because
mm,
we were losing that Sagittarius optimism and understanding of all other cultures and other ways of being, right?
mm.
Oh, this makes so much sense in my head now.
I know it does. And also around that time, hang on, there was something else that I just thought of now. Oh, I'll get back to that when it pops back up.
I guess, and I have not done a whole lot of study on the nodes as far as looking at it globally. I've really just done my own personal or my family. So to zoom out and look at the transiting nodes and what's going on, I feel like I'm seeing things in a different way, right? When you look at the global system and how it functions almost
Mm,
as a unit, right? And how the nodes affect it. And I think the 2020 to 2022 nodes in Gemini and Sagittarius can really teach us a lot about our global spiritual path and what we're supposed to be learning and doing. Because
mm.
man, we really all separated, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. And with the South Node, yes, so it defleets that energy, but it also sort of brings up the low road of that energy. Because I'm just thinking about how Sagittarius can also be very blunt. It's known to be blunt, and
Right.
everyone was just, yeah, really blurting out like, "You're an idiot for doing this. You're such an asshole for that." Da da
Yep.
da, and I feel like this at around this time, everyone was locked in their homes, just communicating like this over the internet. There was a lot of like, I feel like fake news was born around this time,
Oh my gosh, yes. It
right?
was so bad with the fake news and the censorship, right? Like Facebook deciding that they're going to censor what people read and what they don't read, and so many different ways censorship was showing up, right? Like the fake news police and posts being taken down. And then that's when I feel bad for anybody named Karen, because I know some lovely people named Karen, but in America there was the Karen thing came about,
Karen was
where
born.
Karen was born, where it
Yeah.
was, these essentially white women that were policing everybody, obnoxiously policing
Mm.
everybody, right? And it's almost like they took their online persona and put it into real life. And it was, oh,
Yeah.
such a strange
Very.
personality flip,
Mm.
right? It was that Gemini personality flip where all of a sudden you're used to having one side of a person, and then bam, you see the other side and you're like, ooh, didn't plan on that guy coming out.
Yeah.
And it felt like that kind of across the globe.
Yeah.
People were getting weird. I don't know about in your
Yeah.
country, but over here they were.
Yeah, here as well, and also social media really blew up, and Gemini is all about being social. So that's
Yeah.
also really interesting that it was that time when the North Node hit Gemini, and 18 months after that, the North Node moved on to Taurus.
Yep. Yep. So Taurus
Uh,
and Scorpio access. So again, the
mhm.
Scorpio is going to be less, and then Taurus is going to be more. And Scorpio is really about power and energy and control. And there was an energy crisis across most of Europe. And in America, I know
Yeah.
for sure the grocery inflation, the food inflation, so money and food, Taurus ruled, right? Those got bigger. And then the energy and power got less.
Mm. Yeah.
Crazy time. How are you guys
It,
out of that energy crisis now? Are you still?
no, we're not. It feels better now, but it's summer. So, people are not really thinking about heating their homes and stuff like
Right.
that. We don't really, it's light. We don't use our lights as much. So
Right.
it's not over. We're just sort of on a summer holiday from it. Summer break. Ah, yeah. And also Uranus was conjunct the North Node at some point in Taurus, which made everything just go all over the place. And there was a lot of activity in Taurus this last year and a half.
Yes. And Jupiter moved into Taurus not too long ago. Made everything bigger. So yeah, Taurus got some activity this past year for sure.
Yeah. So I feel like also there's been, aside from economy and energy prices and stuff like that, there's also been a peaked interest around food, around how to grow food, around that people are realizing that the groceries that you buy, the salads that you buy in the in the food shop is not what you think it is.
No.
And we realize that we have to feed our bodies, and the body feels like very Taurian as well, like, you know, it's very stable and well.
Yep.
So that has also been a big topic for this past 18 months.
For sure. I know the Gates Foundation got approval for lab grown meat. And so now the restaurants in California are going to be serving meat grown in a building, not an animal, in a building. And that happened. I remember it was right around the North Node conjunct Uranus. And Uranus is all about weird ideas, right?
Yes, really very eccentric. Yeah.
Very eccentric, very like, let's try this weird experiment, right? Like the mad scientist kind of guy. And I think that's a really interesting thing to come about with this North Node, you know, Uranus conjunction. And then since then, the food industry really is changing. I know the Gates Foundation just started using a peel, it's called. I think it's APPEEL or something like that, but it's a food coating that you put on apples and avocados and things like that. And it's supposedly, like, nobody can get enough information on it. Like, it's supposed to be okay for organic, but essentially it makes the shelf life of the produce significantly longer. So you won't actually know how fresh your produce is or when it was picked or something like that. And it's a coating that goes on there. Now, we don't know anything really about this coating and if it goes into the actual product, or like, there's all kinds of really like weird food shit coming out. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's a very much a North Node Taurus global thing, is our food industry is being super screwed with big time.
Yeah.
And then money. You can't forget about
money. Yeah. But I feel like, so this was just supposed to happen for us globally. We needed to take a look at this. And I think that a lot of people have, with these weird, eccentric food lab ideas, a lot of people have realized how important it is, you know, with the real deal. And I feel like there is a much higher interest now for, you know, having your own land, or maybe sharing land and gardening and knowing how to grow something.
Yep. And even things like
that is good.
Having aquaponics, like we have a tower garden, and I'm a representative for them so that I can teach people how to grow in a small home or apartment, you know, with water. And that's an idea that's been around for many, many years, but is now becoming more accessible in homes, right? And that's a big thing too, is learning to grow with better efficiency and in colder climates and things like that. So shipping a lot less, right? Shipping lettuce from the south of, you know, the US all the way up to the north in the middle of winter is not economical. And that does take a lot of energy in the form of fuel, right? Which would be Scorpio energy. So I think we have to all make these changes. And now on the 17th of July, the nodes will shift into Aries and Libra. So this is going to be real interesting.
Yes.
Because I think we're going to take these themes we've been dealing with, and now we have to apply Aries and Libra energy to them, right? Exactly. So now we've been dealing with foundational issues with food and health, and, you know, people being able to pay their bills and all of that kind of stuff. The student loan stuff, that's a money thing we've been dealing with over in America here. And it's been real interesting to watch that. And that's all going to come into play when Aries and Libra show up now. So Libra, as soon as I thought about this and we were researching for this episode today, my brain went justice, the judicial system, fairness, equality. Oh, hang on. In America, we've been having some justice system issues with the Supreme Court justices and their rulings not being constitutionally based, right? They're more religiously based, or like it's not necessarily being ruled based on the facts of how our Constitution was set up. And I just read an article and shared an article yesterday about kickbacks and incentives that several of the justices are getting through book sales at various colleges. And when they do book signings, and they make it so that everybody who attends their speech at a college has to have a book. So the college has to purchase 400 to 1,000 book copies. And that's not necessarily fundraising, but it is, quote unquote, right? Like it was a really interesting article that the Associated Press had done research for a couple of years on this, and how the ethics apply. And this is where Libra comes in with rules and ethics and balance and peace. And we don't quite have that right now.
No. So we will sort of see more. So we will see more of that, the low road from Libra, the injustice, and also like toxic relationships, but the injustice coming up to the surface, which is also, I guess, something that we need to really see right now, even though it's a pain to go through it.
For real. Yeah. So I think that's what now we're leaning into Aries North Nodes. So Aries is all about the I, and Libra is all about the we or the you. And we have to have a balance, and we need to be leaning into Aries, healthy Aries, to deal with the injustice. But what we've seen with these North Nodes is that it gets real unhealthy first before it gets healthy. So Aries is well, he's the god of war. So I feel like we need to point that out, because there is an active war going on between Russia and the Ukraine still. And I think that could be amplified some way, somehow, or it could lead to other warlike situations, right? Or the threat of, right? I feel like there's going to be some kind of culmination of somebody's ego is going to get real heated. And I don't like that, but like, what else is, what is the other option for Aries, right? Like, Aries is not necessarily a diplomat.
No, it's very much do first, think later.
Yeah.
Like, also, and just thinking about the me, the I.
Yeah. The I want justice. I want you to listen to me. I want you to vote in a fair way. And it's not that we're doing it because it's not that the I self is stepping up to do that because it's fun and we really want to. It's because it's a have to. We have to act with the injustice that's been going on, or that's going to get really amplified, right?
Exactly. So that the South Node is that energy that we have been through, and that where we can where we easily end up in. So I feel like these injustices will come to the surface, and we will just want to be like, okay, I'll allow it. It's too hard to do anything to fight the legal system and da da da. But what we need to work towards is just to freaking do something.
Yeah.
And not to try and maybe wait for everyone around you to think like you think, but you have to do something. I have to do something. Like, every person needs to step up and take action.
Yes. And this article I was reading, I'm going to give credit, astrobutterfly.com. phenomenal article on the nodes. What she says in here is the trigger of the lunar node transit is always the south node. So that's going to be the trigger, right? So Libra energy, someone else is going to be pulling the trigger, okay? So for example, something stops working. So planes no longer fly, south node in Sagittarius, and the energy pipeline is shut down, south node in Scorpio, right? So we need to then do something about it. And when the south node goes into Libra, I'm guessing what's going to shut down is the relationship we have with another person, a business, or our government. Right? And then we are going to have to do something about it because it is unjust. And Aries will go to war for unjust causes. Like Aries really likes to have fun and play. That's really the preferred way to do things. But when Libra crap, opposite Aries, when Libra crap gets activated, there's typically an injustice or a fairness issue or a balance or harmony issue. And that's when the fire of Aries gets activated. And he's like, well, I guess I'm going to war.
Here we go. Didn't feel like it, but here we go.
I wanted to go play, but so I think that's going to be something we really need to watch for, is how can the I take action against the imbalance or the injustice? What can each of us do as an individual to take action?
Yeah.
I don't know right now.
No, me neither. I guess it will, it will let us know. It will be known.
But there's really this balance we're looking for, right? We're searching for balance. So whatever you need to take action on is because the pendulum started to get out of control, right? The seesaw is going too far, and we need to bring it back to a healthier balance so that we're not, like I say, barfing off both sides of the ship as the ship is rocking too much, right? We need to bring it to more of a healthy balance. And I think that'll look different for everyone depending on where they live. I live in a very rural farming county. And for us here, I just saw a map 2 days ago. We have 4 cows for every 1 human in our county.
Wow.
Wrap your heads around that.
That's a lot of cows. 4
cows per person in the county. And there's 3 main cities in the county, and each city is only 2,000 people. So that's about 6,000 to 7,000 people in the cities. And then the rest is just rural. And there's 4 cows per person. So we have injustices when it comes to disproportionate use of farmlands because of manure overusage and spillage and contaminated wells. We have big problems with that. So for where I live, I anticipate rulings or judgments that rule in favor of more production of cows or more whatever, right? Where we don't need that. We need a healthier balance. So, and this is just from my experience of living here for 12 years. And I think that's probably going to be where we might need to step up and take more action, where we go to our town meetings and we, fight for better justice.
Exactly.
So that's how I see it. But you live in Stockholm, where you don't have 4 cows per person.
No. I sort of wish that we did, actually.
But what kinds of issues do you deal with as a Stockholm resident?
Well, I feel like a big issue, at least from my standpoint, is that everything is based out of consumerism. Like if I'm going to meet a friend, it's a city, so we have to meet somewhere to buy something together, to consume together. There's not enough places for people to meet and just be without consuming. But I think that might be every city in the world. But for cities, I think that's a problem, that we don't have enough spaces, enough parks, enough land just to do whatever, to just
sit and
do our thing.
Yeah. Sit in peace and harmony. Yeah, to have those peaceful places in those parks, I think, is so important.
Yeah. And this also, it's not only government and yourself. This is all could also show itself in your relationships.
For
You were
sure.
saying earlier before, Laura, that this can, if you have a relationship based on not a harmonious or like a balanced grounds,
Yeah.
it will be a disaster. It will make itself known, and you might have to end it. If, however, you have a relationship based on, it's based on equal grounds, then you will still probably have to restructure your relationship.
Yep.
And I feel like that is a really good thing. But here again, also, the South Node is in Libra. So you might feel like you will do anything to just keep the status quo. Like you don't want to step up, even
Avoid
if you see
conflict.
injustice, to avoid conflict in your relationship. And you will want to just keep the status quo. But the North Node in Aries is pushing us and urging us to step up.
Yeah. Absolutely. To have courage.
To have yes, to have courage. It's a fire sign. You need to like let that fire burn.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so
Yeah.
funny that I just used that word, and I just chose a font for my Cosmic Mama collective, and it was Couragette. And
Oh, I like that.
I thought about
Courgette.
the word courage, and I'm like, oh, the Couragette font is like a female courage font.
Mm.
I'm a couragette, right? But
I
to
like
lead,
that.
right? Isn't that funny? I had to have courage to launch this collective and to really embody my Aries sun sign and to create this online weirdo astrology community where people can come together to balance and have harmony within their parenting journey, within their giving and taking, right? When you're doing mama, you're constantly giving your energy, and you're typically given from a pretty low bucket, right? Your bucket isn't really filled. There's not a lot of harmony. So this collective I'm creating is to really have a healthier, more peaceful balance within yourself and with your parenting journey. And man, that sure fits these Aries Libra energies.
Yeah.
I didn't think of that. This
Well,
is
it's
not
happening very soon. Yeah. You're stepping into it.
I am. Yeah, this is because I'm launching this actually July 22nd, so Leo season, and the North nodes are changing July 17th, so just before that. So that's very
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
One other thing this Astro Butterfly article did bring up is that in February 19th, the North Node and Chiron are going to be,
2024.
yep, in 2024. Thank you. The North Node and Chiron are going to be conjunct. So I think that has a significant impact on us really doing some, because Chiron is really about healing generational crap, right? The crap that the generations before us gave to us that we really don't need. It's not serving us.
Yeah.
So Chiron
Yeah.
wants us to heal that so that we can move forward in a better energy field, right? A better, healthier way. And so when the North Node, our spiritual evolution, comes into contact exactly with Chiron in Aries, we need to do something completely new that we've never done before, because Aries is all about let's try something new. Woohoo!
Yes.
And we're going to do some massive healing. So everybody who's listening, tell your friends, get it on your calendar. Around February 19th is when it goes exact, but probably early February, we're going to start to feel this. There's going to be some generational healing thing for you coming up, and it's going to be activated by that South Node in Libra. So what is coming up for you from Libra that's relationship dynamics that is not serving you anymore?
Yeah.
What
When are you? Yeah.
message did you get?
Yeah. Like, when are you not stepping up, or where in your life are you not stepping up?
Yep. So that's going to happen at 16 degrees Aries. So if you have anything around or at 16 degrees Aries or 16 degrees Libra in your chart, you're going to be extra activated here. For me, so dumb, so dumb, so dumb. For me, I have Saturn at 19 degrees Libra, and my wisdom planet, Pallas, Athena, is at 12 degrees. So this happens right in between my wisdom
Sandwich.
and my karmic healing in the 5th house of children and creativity. And my North Node in my chart is 18 degrees Cancer. So that will be square by 2 degrees. It'll be squaring my North Node in Cancer. So again, I've got some parenting themes going on with me that I'm going to really need to lean into. What parenting children thing is going to come up? I don't know, but it's going to be big. Saffron will just be turning 3. Yay.
Oh, little Saffron and turning 3.
She'll be turning 3 a week before that. So
I think she already feels 3.
Right?
Yeah.
So this should be really interesting energy for me personally. So look at your chart and find out what's going on with these energies. If you have anything at like 15, 14, anywhere in there, or 18, 19, right? That realm of Libra or Cancer or Capricorn or Aries. Those are going to be really activated things because they'll be square or opposite.
Yeah.
So check your chart. And if you need some help, call us.
Yeah.
Send us an email.
You can also take a look at what house this falls in for you. For me, it will be because I have such a huge 1st and 7th house. So a lot of things are happening in my 1st and 7th. And this will also happen in my 1st and 7th. Aries is in my 1st and Libra is in my 7th.
So you're
even more so.
Aries, Libra are really going to intensify.
Super strong, yeah, because the 1st house is also the eye and the 7th house is the we. So it will be like magnified extra, a little extra spice on that one for me too.
And I think this is interesting because this is going to be a time for you as you enter your later 30s here. You really are starting to mature into that North Node energy. And then eventually, you'll have your Chiron return essentially, right? And then that will be activated. But your North Node stuff is going to be really interesting with Aries 1st house, Aries, and then Libra 7th house, Libra. Like, what relationships are going to be crumbling for you? Let me know.
Yeah. Yeah, I will let you know. Yeah. Also, if you read Jan Spiller's book, because I remember I was reading about my North Node placement by sign, and then she also encourages you to read about the North Node placement by house.
Yeah.
So mine is in the 1st house. I also read about that, which is more of an Aries energy. So you can read about both your sign energy and the house energy.
Yep.
In that book that I really recommend.
I really love it. It's a great book.
Yeah.
It really helped me to really recognize, I guess, what a spiritual path is, right? Because you're like, oh, your North Node is your spiritual path. Well, what the hell does that mean?
I have one. Thanks.
Right? So for me, her book really helped me to make it into the reality of life. Like, what does this look like in a daily basis, right? In a day-to-day thing. And I felt a lot more at ease with it because for a while I just did not understand what in the heck a North Node in Cancer even meant. I didn't get it. Clearly, I was missing 2 children at the time. So now I get it. Now I get it. But it's something that everybody is going to be leaning into at some point or another, and you will feel it activate. You really, really will. And as a global collective, we are going to be feeling this shift coming up here.
We will. Injustice will be brought to surface, both personal and global. Yay.
Right. Right. And also Aries is really about doing stuff because it does sound fun, right? So when we saw things with the pandemic with Gemini and people were really like in the unhealthy bigness of Gemini, Aries unhealthy bigness is going to be obnoxious, like really selfish, self-centered energy. So that might be something we have to deal with as we kind of grow and mature into that North Node Aries, right? Like first you got to experience that, whoops, that didn't work. And then you can hopefully mature into what does work. So when you are dealing with relationship issues, because they're going to come up, and this is not just necessarily your like lover partnership. This is your relationship with your kids, your parents, your business partner, your boss. You know, who do you have contracts with? You may want to double check your contracts and read them again, or renegotiate contracts where things feel a little bit more balanced. Maybe you have a 70-30 split and you need it to be more of a 60-40 split, right? I don't know what your thing is, but check into that kind of stuff. And then Aries energy might be a little bit too much in the me for a while until we learn to find that healthy balance, because it's got to be me, because Libra got out of balance too, right? So it's got to
have to swing the pendulum back, and then it can just slowly find a balance.
So like we saw the emergence of the Karens and the emergence of just people being really weird in the pandemic with what they said and the obnoxious stuff that communicated out their mouth, right? And the separation of friendships happened. We might see a lot of that similar kind of thing with Aries, where obnoxiousness might show up again, right? Yeah. And we might burn bridges with the actions we take. I just keep thinking about my daughter with the Aries moon, and she's always acting before she thinks. There's always, she hits or she grabs or she's 11. And I'm like, honey, you have to stop and breathe before you take action. And this is coming from her Aries sun mother, who I'm just learning this at 41, right? So I'm hopefully trying to get to her sooner. But this is going to be a thing. People are going to act before they think.
Yeah. Very fast action. Yeah.
Be ready for the sudden fiery explosion of like, whoop, that relationship just blew up. All right. That business partnership is over. Okay. And then remember this episode and come back and listen to it.
Yeah. I mean, this will be released on the 20th of July is when you might be listening to this. And this has already happened by the time that this comes out. So, you know, think back to what happened on Monday, the 17th of July.
Yeah.
What happened?
Everybody will benefit from mindfulness practices. Meditation practices are huge right now. It's a massively growing industry. You know, whether you're using an app called Insight Timer or Headspace or Mind Valley, I don't care what you're using, YouTube, meditation practices will be crucial for us to pull ourselves back and think before we act. And so if you do not have a meditation practice in place, I really, really recommend you work on I first, right? The I, the Aries self, get that in a better space. Aries rules the head. So you may develop more headaches during this time frame because things are resonating up in the head a lot during this time. So
I have a headache today. I just thought of it like, oh, what if the headaches is just like a premonition of
right? That might be something
coming on Monday.
Really shows up where your head pain is trying to talk to you. Pain is always an acronym. Here's your acronym, guys. Pay attention inside now. That's what pain stands for. Pay attention inside now. Pain is there to give you a warning that the energy flow in your body is off. So you need to get it on somehow, whether there's a chasm we need to bridge or whether there's a beaver dam in the middle of the river. I don't care what it is, but the energy flow is not flowing. So that's where pain develops. And that's our body trying to talk to us. And you can break that or bridge that, however you want, integrate that by going inside and doing breath work. And I'm not even joking. I'm not making this up. There's hundreds of thousands of books and studies and podcasts on this stuff. I'm actually in a book club right now. We are reading the book called The Energy Codes by Dr. Sue Morter. And we'll put this link in the description. I highly recommend this book, you guys. It is super good. And it is all about basically balancing and aligning your energy. It says the 7-step system to awaken your spirit, heal your body, and live your best life by Dr. Sue Morter. The energy. Get it on Audible, get it physical. I don't care. Read this book. It is all about what I'm talking about right now, like making sure you hear the messages your body's giving you so you can align the energy. And we are going to need this practice when the North Node moves into Aries.
Let's write that book in show notes as well, because
sure.
I want to go back to that.
Yes, it's so
I want to
good.
circle back. Yeah.
So glad I joined the book club, because I don't know if I would be reading this book otherwise. And I'm so grateful that my intuition was like, hey, Laura, you need this. Oh, all right, thanks. I didn't really need a book club, but I did need a book, and I did need the book club to make me read the book. So I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
So yeah, the North Node and the South Node, I think, are such an interesting topic. And if you have not seen how they're made, just Google North Node or South Node and go to images, Google images, and they'll show you how the pinpoint is made in the sky. But that's what really emphasizes the energy, you guys. This isn't a specific celestial body. It's literally the energy paths crossing of the sun and moon. And it still is such a huge impact on us. It's still such a huge part of the role we play in this Earth school. And it's not even a physical thing. It's just an energetic crossing of paths. And it affects us so much because we are all energy.
We are. Yeah. Yeah.
We are. It's why you don't have to believe in astrology for it to work.
No. I love that. You don't have to believe it. It works. It still works.
Yep. As Deborah Silverman, our teacher, says, it believes in you.
It believes in you. Yeah.
I love it. So yeah, if you have any questions or comments about the nodes, or have any stories to contribute, send us an email or make comments on here. We'd love to hear from you. And if this, if this information has been helpful for you, please share it with your friends or your loved ones that maybe are already struggling with relationships and are wondering what in the heck is going on. You can be like, oh, hey, these two weirdos have some answers for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
We love sharing this info. So yeah, please like and share. And then if you feel so compelled to help support us, you can buy us a tea or buy us a coffee. And the link is in the show notes. And that money goes right back into the show, where we can help amplify our reach to people and help others understand the energies that they're living in and that they're going through.
Yeah, because I mean, now in this conversation, maybe you got a little scared listening to this, but no need. This is just stuff that needs to happen globally. It's energies that are meant to come for us to be able to see it. Something has to come up to the surface for you to be able to work on it, to see it. Yep. And now it's time to change that energy, for us to look at the Aries and Libra axis. That's what we need to focus in on. And that thing that's happening in February, is apparently, it's like a once in a lifetime. I don't know how many 100 years is in between these events, but this will happen to us who are living here on Earth right now once.
Yep.
So that is also a huge opportunity to really work with the energy of Chiron conjunct North Node in Aries.
Yeah, we should definitely do an episode specifically on Chiron and Aries, because one of the things I love to discuss with people when I'm doing chart readings is their Chiron, because that is where all of us have one, and all of us have a self-esteem issue or a worthiness issue that we have to deal with, that comes from our parents and our grandparents and our generations before us. And it's something it's a key to our understanding of our chart. He is literally a key. It's what his image is on the chart. And I think it's the key to understanding our mission here in Earth School, is to do this healing work. So I'd love to do a whole episode on Chiron and Aries, because I think it's that important that we.
Yeah, no, it sounds like an amazing opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah, we should definitely do that. So we're excited. We're coming up on our 1 year here pretty soon. I'm excited. What episode is this? We're in like 47?
47, I think. Yeah, 47.
This is exciting.
Yeah. It is. Look at us.
I love it. I love it. And that is definitely me utilizing my South Node in Capricorn to stay the course and stay consistent. And I do borrow from people who are rocking Capricorn energy. Thank you so much, Helena. Because it does take me a buddy to stay consistent like that. And I appreciate that energy, and I appreciate kind of utilizing your Capricorn energy to keep this going. So I'm so excited that we're coming around the corner here in just a few episodes to our 1 year mark. Oh my gosh, it's a big deal. So we've got some good stuff planned for you coming up, and we appreciate you listening and tuning in. And yes, this is just some big things coming for us. I can feel it.
Me too.
Awesome. Well, thank you, everybody. We'll see you. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Ram and Goat Astrology. You can support the show by buying us a coffee or a tea. Link in the show notes. Your financial support means the world to us. Join us next time.